Thank you so much. Uh, First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Professor Chima, Professor Jawad, for the invitation to discuss this important topic here. And thank you very much. After lunch, you all are here. I will try to be fast, and I would like to complete it in time. First of all, I think for my junior colleague, we all know that this is a disease which is common among those with structural lung disease, and it causes problem, and we all face challenge when we have to diagnose and treat those patients. So in next 20 minutes, I would like to just go and discuss these things. So when they asked me to discuss this issue, fortunately or unfortunately, I came across to a case, so I thought that I must start it from there. So December 2023, a 57-year-old lady present to her doctor with the history of hemoptysis and fever, a known case of COPD, but no history of weight loss. Her sputum sample was sent to our laboratory at Aga Khan University. Her sputum sample was positive, AFB smear few, and ATT was initiated by the doctor. After few days, growth of rapid growing mycobacteria was noted and reported. After 3 months, I believe clinician, he sent a second sample just to follow the ATT therapy. This time AFB smear positive and the growth was moderate, expert was negative, and AFB culture growth again rapid growing mycobacterium. At this stage, the clinician, he contacted us and he inquired about the organism. So both isolates, luckily we had both. So both isolates were sent to, after the discussion with the clinician, both isolates were sent to National TB program because they are the one, they only do at this time they only do the identification of organism by molecular method. So what is the problem, we can discuss it later. So both sample was sent to them and they identified as Mycobacterium abscessus. Antimicrobial susceptibility was done at Aga Khan University by minimum inhibitory concentration method, and that organism unfortunately is sensitive to amikacin, intermediate to imipenem, linezolid, cefoxitin, cipro, and clarithromycin, doxycycline, moxi, and cotrimoxazole resistant. So I believe for most of you, the experienced pulmonologist, I think this is a difficult case for the treatment, for the diagnosis, and for empirical therapy. So just keep this in your mind, and then I discuss the topic. So issue related with the management of NTM, pulmonary infection in Pakistan, especially in Pakistan, because the title given was perspective of Pakistan. Clinical diagnosis of NTM is challenging for all of us, especially when we live in endemic country, जहाँ पे हर दूसरा केस आपका TB होता है, और हम TB को indulge होते हैं कि हम TB को treatment शुरू कर दें. Diagnostic protocols are usually ignored या miss हो जाते हैं, या lack of awareness and capacity of patient to pay, to go to doctor, to pay for the laboratory test. ये भी कोई आसान नहीं होते, एक नहीं करो, दो करो, बार बार करो. These are various issues which are related here. लेकिन for NTM, it is recommended that 2 specimens of sputum should be submitted to the lab with a gap of 1 week, ताकि अगर एक दफ़ा colonize हों, colonization is an issue which I will discuss in a minute. So अगर एक में आ गया है तो दूसरे में आने में हफ्ता 10 दिन के बाद, ताकि अगर same organism है तो उसकी कोई validity है, वरना ये जो ATS, CRS, ESCMID, IDSA guideline, वो कहते हैं कि 2 होना ज़रूरी है और growth होना चाहिए और same organism. And the laboratory, for us, laboratory side, limitation of laboratories in the confirmation of diagnosis. The problem with non-tuberculous mycobacteria is very difficult to identify in many of the laboratory. The reason is कि phenotypic method जो होते हैं वो 2-1.5 महीना खींच लेते हैं, बहुत सारी problems है, cumbersome and time consuming expertise जो कि available नहीं है most of the lab में, and molecular tests, they are not available, so this is another issue. And non-availability of AST facility at many places, मेरी अपनी understanding ये कि सिर्फ आगा खान में अभी कर रहे हैं हम, और ये एक बहुत बड़ा issue है. But for NTM, we know that they are different, their antimicrobial susceptibility is different, so empirical therapy के लिए भी थोड़ा बहुत पता होना, थोड़ा बहुत होना important है, and AST is very important for right therapy. So major issue related to diagnosis of NTM infection, they can be isolated from pulmonary specimen due to environmental contamination. They are here and there, and लैब में और आप हम दोनों सोचते रहते हैं क्या ये कंटामिनेंट है या पुअर सैम्पल है या एंड लैब एंड क्लिनिशियन हमारा भी कोऑर्डिनेशन बहुत अच्छा नहीं होता है जिसमें हम आपस में डिस्कस कर लें. एंड बिकॉज सम पेशेंट who have NTM isolated from respiratory sample वो बहुत ठीक ठाक होते हैं तो फिर हम परेशान होते हैं कि कहा भी यही जाता है कि लेबोरेटरी की रिपोर्ट नहीं ट्रीट करो मरीज़ को ट्रीट करो तो वी कांट पुश यू कांट पुश सो दिस इज़ द प्रॉब्लम. और NTM स्पीशीज़ के लिए अगेन वी हैव टू हैव 2 सैम्पल एंड सब स्पीशीज़ भी एक ही होनी चाहिए स्पेशली एस्परजिलस. For my very junior colleague, non-tuberculous mycobacterium, they are about 190 species apart from mycobacterium TB and lepri. इन्वायरमेंट में दे आर हेयर देयर पानी में है. अभी आप लोगों को भी कुछ को अंदाज़ा होगा कि इसके आइट्रोजेनिक इन्फेक्शन होते हैं पानी में होता है हॉस्पिटल के होता है घरों में होता है. हमारे मैन मेड इशू है कि हमारे नलों में उनमें ये बायोफिल्म बना के वहाँ अटैच हुआ होता है. एंड पल्मोनरी डिजीज़ेस उन लोगों को ज़्यादा होती हैं जिनको स्ट्रक्चरल प्रॉब्लम हो लंग में चाहे COPD हो हमारे पास TB हो या उनको ब्रोंकिएक्टेसिस वगैरह वगैरह. इनको 2 बड़े ग्रुप में डिवाइड किया गया है. स्लो ग्रोइंग है जिनमें ये प्रिवेलेंट वन को मैंने ज़्यादा यहाँ पर लिया है नॉट मेनी. और उसके बाद जो रैपिडली ग्रोइंग है एब्सेसिस है. ये डेटा फ्रॉम वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड है ये इनका. तो इसमें ज़रा सा नंबर ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म और द परसेंटेज इज़ डिफरेंट व्हाट वी हैव. सो ग्लोबल बर्डन इज़ अननोन but we all know that the high income countries and low income countries में बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं. And in this slide I am showing just the Pakistani data which is from this data was published from my department just 3 years ago. And इसमें मैं ये दिखाना चाह रही हूँ my colleague what they have done. They have sorted out pulmonary isolate and extrapulmonary isolate. You can see that the दो के extrapulmonary भी numbers बढ़े हैं लेकिन you can see that the pulmonary isolates they have increased from the clinical sample. One can say कि आपके number of samples बढ़ गए होंगे. Yes, हो सकता है chance हो कि awareness among pulmonologists and the ID physician has been increased. That's why they are there. But this is very important to know that some of the isolate like rapid Grogger abscesses and the avium intracellulare they have been increased and Kansasi bhi hai. So one can see in this slide that the number of isolation of NTM has been increased even in our part of the world. And these isolate they can vary in different region. So, the previous slide that the Mycobacterium avium intracellulare and Kansasi they are among slow growing they were there and among rapid growing Mycobacterium abscessus group and the fortuitum group. And another publication from Aga Khan, this shows that the distribution of organism are slightly different in Pakistan. But again, I would say number are not very impressive for the northern part, but Karachi ke zyadatar isolate the. So our challenges at initial visit to clinic, then to the lab, and then to empirical therapy. An individual with persistent symptom like fever and respiratory symptom when they visit you, so most of the time हम antibacterial therapy की तरफ चले जाते हैं. And there are other, antibacterial therapy जब बहुत कई course मिल गए तो there are too many reasons for this presentation and maybe we don't consider NTM. So maybe it's not a priority organism. Therefore diagnosis delays. And a दूसरा dilemma जो है कि pulmonary is it colonization of respiratory tract or it's a genuine organism, ये रह जाता है कहीं दरमियान में at clinician level. In the laboratory, the problem with NTM is that they grow from 3 to 4 days to 3 to 6 weeks. Up to 10 weeks होता था. अब तो मीडिया बहुत अच्छे हो गए हैं, लिक्विड मीडिया है तो 10 weeks तो अब 6 week पर आ गया है. So they grow, but many laboratories they don't keep sample for that long. और इसमें से बिल्कुल TB के lab की एक ज़रूरत होती है. And many lab they can't grow because these organisms they are fastidious. इनका एक temperature चाहिए होता है, media चाहिए होता है, humidity चाहिए होती है, CO2 चाहिए होता है. So इनके भी बहुत ज़्यादा ही कहना चाहिए नखरे हैं. So that is the reason they don't grow easily. That's why many laboratories they just miss them. And again, as I discussed in the beginning, that antimicrobial susceptibility is very difficult to perform. So ये बहुत बड़ा एक issue है कि आपको susceptibility भी नहीं मिल पाती है. And molecular identification आप लोगों को अगर ज़रूरत हो तो NTP को ही रुजू करें currently for the molecular identification because it's very important for the diagnosis. So at empirical therapy, whenever we want to give empirical therapy, optimal regime is very challenging. क्योंकि ये sensi linked है, we will discuss it in next few slides. And recommended therapy regime, we all know कि कौन सी drug, कितनी drug, what duration, daily, alternate day, और बहुत सारी चीज़ें, but the guideline are usually, the available guideline is largely opinion based and data बहुत कम है हमारे पास. Optimum dosing, because we know that there are few like avium intracellular abscesses, Xenopi, they are quite aggressive, while Kansasi is not that one. So we have to know the drug and dose and everything, and the endemicity, virulence. So there are many factors which are very important. And the local data, scarcity of local data in Pakistan, but luckily we have two good papers during last 3 years. The first paper is published by Gulab Devi Hospital doctors, Dr. Asifa Karamat and her team with Sabra Tehseen from NTP Islamabad. What they did actually, this is a study from 2012 to 16, 12,000 data of TB, a sample submitted for TB diagnosis, and what they did, they found that among those there were 29% were TB, but 5% of the isolate were non-tuberculous mycobacterium. So they found that the 5% of the TB population suspected by the pulmonologist in the clinic, they were NTM. And what they did, the positive samples they sent to NTP Islamabad for typing. So they found that the 55%, 33 of avium complex and 25% were abscesses, and the sensitivity MIC was performed at Aga Khan University Hospital. So this is a good paper to study and publish, and to study for your clinical impact. But this is a very good study published by colleagues from Aga Khan University. This is cumulative antimicrobial susceptibility for respiratory clinical isolate of Mycobacterium avium complex, Kansasi, and abscesses from Pakistan. Again, it's a 4-year study. Just last year, it was published last year. Again, 4-year data. The previous study and this study, the good thing about these two studies are that they contacted patient and they are the clinical isolate. Ye contaminant wale baat alag ho gayi hai, the contaminant are not there. So this, what is the, just again for junior colleagues, the antibiogram, what is antibiogram? We do report susceptibility in percentage, and when we report in percentage, so it helps us in watching or observing the resistant trend. MIC are done to see the emergence of resistance. जब वो थोड़ा थोड़ा आना शुरू होता है तो पता चलता है, and it helps us in empiric therapy, and we are here to learn about empiric therapy and treatment. So this table, it's very nicely done, and this table shows the susceptibility of 3 prevalent organisms. The first row is Mycobacterium avium and intracellulare. The second one is rapid grower abscesses, and the third one is Kansasi. We can see that Mycobacterium intracellular avium and intracellulare, the largest group, the sensitivity was done against macrolide, which is clarithromycin. Just for the clarification, for NTM, clarithromycin and azithromycin, they are cross-reportable. So if sensitive to clarithromycin, one can also use azithromycin. So the sensitivity of avium intracellulare, if you look here, clarithromycin was 94%, amikacin, which is 72%, linezolid only 22%, and moxifloxacin was 7.2%. So we can see that the susceptibility pattern of this organism is not very good for clinicians to be used for the patient. Rifampicin, rifabutin, imipenem, cefoxitin, doxycycline, we could not do that because there are no guidelines available from the CDC or WHO that what should be, what is the correlation between in vitro and in vivo sensitivity. That's why they were not done in the laboratory. The second one is the fast growing one. Here we can see that the clarithromycin is 77% altogether, and amikacin is the best one, which is 99%, but it is IV, and the rest of the drug, they are not very impressive. The last one, which is Kansasi, which does not cause very serious disease or aggressive disease, like the abscesses one and the avium intracellulare, but this is a very sensitive one, and we know that ATT mostly covers that. So this is the issue, and that's why the life is very difficult, how to proceed. So how to improve, last 2 slides, How to improve management of pulmonary TB? The first thing, very simple, sample collection for the confirmation of clinical diagnosis, sputum collection, to rule out environmental contamination. Ask your patient to rinse mouth with boiled water or sterile water. Otherwise, हम आपको contaminant दे देंगे, आप परेशान. And then 2 samples a week apart, या और ज़्यादा भी हो जाए तो कोई बुराई नहीं है, or a single BL sample, which is invasive methodology, and lung biopsy is usually not required. Then, the recommendations. The recommendations for empiric treatment of clinically significant slow and rapid growing NTM from respiratory sample. Sadia and her colleagues, what they write over here, that patient, if you suspect a patient with NTM, please send the sample to laboratory, first sample and the second sample. If you think that they are clinically significant, and we do the culture, it will take time. So maybe at times, when you know that it is rapid growing or a slow, rapid growing, usually we report very fast within a week. And if it is slow growing, then accordingly we have to go for empirical therapy. For empirical therapy, actually this empirical therapy is very similar to the international guideline, where in rapid grower, preferably there should be oral antibiotics, but if oral antibiotics are not available, and we did observe that for NTM, Pakistani isolate, sensitivity with amikacin was the best, but either clarithromycin or azithromycin, preferably azithromycin, linezolid and IV amikacin should be started for the patient empirically, but if it is slow growing, then again azithromycin, ethambutol and rifampicin, and continue this with, and when the sensitivity is available, then one can change the antibiotic. The problem with abscesses and the Mycobacterium intracellular is the sensitivity of rifampicin as well as the sensitivity of clarithromycin is very important, because they tell us that what will be the future, because they are the prognostic marker for the organism कि वो response देने वाला है कि नहीं देने वाला है. So, take home message, index of suspicion for NTM should be high while a patient is not responding usual antimicrobial therapy. Despite available guidelines, the decision to treat patient with pulmonary NTM disease remains difficult even for experts in the field. Therefore, only specialized physicians should decide and treat these cases that will have a substantial impact on the overall disease cost and the recovery of patient. For the best patient outcome, good communication should be maintained between treating physician, radiologist, and microbiologist. So with that, I would like to remind you that this patient, she was put on amikacin, imipenem, linezolid, cefoxitin, tigecycline, and within 10 days, they had to stop the drug because of the very severe complication, and that is the end of my presentation. And here are the references. And